to this special edition of the Sports Den. I call it special because we're going to go one-on-one with a very special individual from our community. I'm not going to tell you who it is just yet because I got to make you wait in a little bit of suspense here. I do want to plug a couple of things that are coming up here on WeTV and also in our area, of course. The 10th annual Windsor Essex. Okay, Christina, we'll go with that one first. The 10th annual Windsor Essex Sportspersons of the Year Awards are coming up on Monday, April 13th at the Kubota Club of Windsor. The keynote speaker, as you can see there, is future NHL Hall of Famer Chris Pronger. Also, tickets are available now at Bob Riem Sports, located on Tecumseh Road East, or else you can come to the WeTV studio here, 6270 Hawthorne Drive, and there are also tickets available for you there. Go to the Westby's website, thewestbys.ca, and you can get more information there. Now, the other thing I will plug is the upcoming Western Conference Junior B Hockey Championship Series. Two great teams, two great coaches. Should be a great series. WeTV will be broadcasting live from the Leamington Arena. The LaSalle Vipers and the Leamington Flyers doing battle in a best-of-7, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. If games 5 and 7 are necessary, we will also bring you those games. Game 5, count on it. I do not think this series will be a sweep. I think it will be a long series, probably at least 6 games, if not 7. Good luck to both Coach Bill Bowler and Tony Prosky. Now, I will tell you who is in the studio with us. Very excited to have her here. She just won her 5th straight Bronze Baby Championship. That's, of course, emblematic of the National Basketball Championship in women's university basketball. Now you know who I'm talking about. The head coach, Chantal Valet. Welcome to the show, Chantal.
Thanks, it's a great introduction.
Not bad. Well, no, hey, you've earned all the stripes, trust me. A little bit of time now since this all happened, and you've had time to hopefully enjoy some of it. But knowing you, you're probably right back at work. In fact, I know you're right back at work. You're telling me about a recruit that you're already working on. I'm not going to give out any of that information, but have you had a chance to enjoy some of this?
You know what, actually, I did.
Okay.
So it was fun because it was in Quebec City, and I had a lot of family and friends that were there. And after the championship, I mean, I was absolutely ecstatic that we won our 5th championship. I mean, you know, the time we won one, I thought, oh, that's amazing. I won one championship, and I would read about coaches that's won multiple, and I think, it's so hard. How do you do this again? But 5 years later, it's still as hard. It's never easy. But now I think, you know, with more experience and time, you take the time to actually enjoy it and make sure that you really celebrate the accomplishment. And I couldn't be more proud of my players who really are the ones that win. You know, they're the ones that play hard in the end and make sure that we win. So it was a great couple of days off. And then back to work.
Back to work, yeah. Well, at least you got to enjoy some of it. That's very important. You know, you mentioned that, you know, winning one, and you thought, wow, what an amazing thing, and certainly it is. You know, you win one, you're remembered forever, no matter what. But I remember last year at the Westby Awards, Joe Theismann was our keynote speaker, and he talked about winning his championship ring. And he was pretty satisfied with that. But then he thought he wanted another one. And he realized he never won another one, and he realized how tough it was to get to that second one. But, you know, he said, you should never be getting that one ring. Go for the next ring and the next ring if you can. And obviously that's happening here with this team and this program. How tough to get to those other rings and keeping that hunger and passion. And certainly you carry that bullseye on your back every year now.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest advice I've received, after we won our first championship, I thought, you know, we've planned for this, we worked for this for 5 years. It was a 5-year, you know, program and display to make sure we got to one ring. And I thought, how do we go back to back? And I called a coach that was quite successful, Bruce Langford, from Simon Fraser University. And I said, Bruce, I said, you've won 2 in a row, even 3 in a row. Tell me, like, what do you do? And he said, Chantal, every team is a new team. Every year is a new year. You cannot just compile them and think it's all in one. So it's a new expedition, it's a new adventure, and you need to make sure you win that year with that team. And that motivated me. And that is something I've used with everyone on my team and say, we are new. We haven't won anything. Nobody knows what we've done. And we haven't proven anything this year. We're a new team. Every team in the league is new. We have to go and win. And that's kind of the focal point that we have put an emphasis on in order for us to stay hungry and to say, you know, when September comes around, we are a new team, we have not accomplished anything, let's go and get it.
Mm-hmm. For the coach, it's understandable, but when you've got players like Maya Marie Langlois, Clarissa Williams, players like that of that caliber, Jessica Clemenceau, who had great years at the university, telling them it's a new year, that's probably a challenge in itself because they won that championship the previous year. They know what they're capable of. How do you get it into their heads, Chantal, and make them realize this is different?
It is different because everybody's role is different in any given year. So even the returning players we will give them new roles, new challenges, and new things to accomplish, whether it's technically, tactically, social, emotional-wise, leadership-wise. The players are asked to be put in a different setting, and therefore they know it's new. There was a year, for example, the first year we won with our two All-Canadians, Maya and Jessica. They were young, they were in second year university, and they had players to look up to, and even though they were some of our best players, they could look up to some veteran leadership. In their last year, I basically told them, if you play well, do you think we're going to lose? And they said, no. And I said, then it's on you. And that was a lot of pressure on them. I said, I'm only going to guide you, but you better show up through every single game we need to win. And so where it was a little more coach-led at the beginning, it was much more player-led at the end. And so it was different for them every year because what I would put on them as challenges was different. And this year, when these two All-Canadians leave, now you have Corissa and Jocelyn, who have never been an all-star or a go-to player. They've always been support cast, and now they have to be the go-to. They have to be the leader. They have to be the people directing the girls in the locker room, and all their career they never had to do that. So it is new for them. So there always is something new to make sure the players stay sharp and don't start to be unmotivated.
The drive for five, this year you got out of the gates, I guess, much like everybody expected you, winning games. Picked up where you left off, won handily in some contests, other ones maybe not as handily. You lose a game at home. And I can remember I got a call. The Lancers women lost. And I'm like, really? Because I hadn't checked the scores or anything. And I said, well, what happened? They lost. They didn't play well. Everyone was in shock.
Yeah.
Were you in shock?
Yes, actually I was. Not once we started to play, because I could see that the team wasn't playing well, and certainly Laurier that night did what they had to do so that we could not find our flow. We just couldn't play well. And you can sense the entire game. I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be hard to come back within the game. It seemed that everything was just too late to try to turn around, and we didn't. But losing is difficult, especially, we are all very perfectionist women, and we all want to, always win. And it wasn't a good feeling, and I think what that allowed to do in the end is to get the players' attention a little bit more. And I think that was an important turning point. And I hate to say that because people always say, well, it's important, you need to lose, and I actually disagree. You don't need to. I think you can find a way to always be your best. When you are the best, you shouldn't lose. But when you do, it's because either you were complacent, you let the other team direct you a little bit too much, or the other team had an amazing game and you just decided to not fight as hard. And but I think it does get the players' attention back. And I certainly, following that, used this to our advantage as a team to make sure that we were focused for all the other games.
So maybe a little adversity there. I'm not going to say a lot, but I think if there was one thing that was really impressive this past year, getting to 5, Chantal, was you had a lot of injuries. You had a lot of illness throughout the season. Yeah. Players, being taken down with the flu and things like that. You had a lot of short benches that you had to work with. Yeah. I thought from that standpoint, just masterful how you worked it. How tough did that make the year? And obviously, some girls had to maybe even step up a little more than what you were hoping or counting on. No,
you're totally right. It was definitely the hardest season that we had to deal with in terms of coaching and making sure that we made the right moves with the limited amount of players that were available. So we started the season with 14 players on the roster. And I was very confident with our 12 Canadians, again, that had graduated, that one of my starting center that had won three rings, and we had a great point guard coming in from Michigan, Division I transfer. I thought, well, these girls are going to take this spot and replace. And next thing you know, for personal reasons, these players are not part of the rosters. And I thought, okay, now we're down to 12, and now we get a concussion that was done for the year, an ACL, so we're down to 10. So we went to get a high school player that didn't even play her grade 12 of high school. Like we're scrambling to find players and try to get bodies out there. Then we had another ACL injury, so we ended up being with 9, including that high school girl that hadn't even played. So really like 8,
8 legitimate university players.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, wow. And I told my players, I said, from the get-go, I remembered a story. In 1983, Bishop University won their first national championship. The following year, 3 players showed up to the tryout. And the coach went and he got 5 players from intramurals. But the 3 players had a national team member, an all-Canadian, and just, a support staff, whatever. Plus 5 intramural girls that could barely play. And the 3 girls said, we are going to win back-to-back because it is our last year and we're not going to let that go. And I told that story to my players and I said, we've got, a national team member, an all-Canadian, and some support staff on this team. And it is your decision. Let's go. And from the get-go, we said, we are winning this. Despite the adversity, despite the low numbers, and now we just have to almost pray there's no more injuries. But when they happened, there was flu, there was this. Sometimes we played at 6 players, and we still won game. The national championship, we played with 7, and 1 had the flu. We still, basically played with 6 healthy players, and we found a way to win. And that's an incredible testament of the grit of my players and the true human spirit that can come through and make them win. For me, that's what was very special about the championship, is to see the guts and the soul of these women, that we are winning this. And it doesn't matter if we play an army and we're alone, we are going to play together and win this. And quite frankly, at the national final, they were tired, but I saw them later on that night. They had a lot of energy left.
They found a second win, didn't they? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little bronze baby thing makes you feel a lot better,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for sure. Would you say that then this was probably, all the championships are special, and they have their own place, I'm sure, in your heart, Chantal, but is this one maybe the one where I guess will stand out a little more than the previous 4 because of what you just explained?
When you go through more adversity, there is no doubt that you feel an incredible sense of achievement and accomplishment. All the championships are very dear to my heart. The first one I was the most nervous about. I had never done it. I didn't know, how to lead the team, and we just did what we thought was our best. And I remember the second one was the one I was the most joyful about. I'm like, I can't believe we're back to back. I was so joyful about it. I've had different feelings at each of them, but this one, I think, is the one I was the most, the word is touched. Yeah, I was very touched. In fact, at the end, when the championship, the clock is going down, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I think I'm getting teary. And that never happened in the other championship. I had different
Coach has got to be tough, right?
I was surprised that this is the emotion that I felt at that time. And I grabbed my assistant coaches and I wouldn't let go because I'm like, I don't want to, the camera get me with, I was like, I got to calm down. I remember being incredibly touched and just this feeling, just these tears coming up. So that was very special for that. And I think it's because of the struggle we've had and the belief that we always kept. The fact that it was in my hometown was significant for me with my family, my friends in the stands. The fact that it was 5 in a row, the fact that we had lost a core of our team and still found a way to win, a lot of things made this one very touching.
Absolutely. I guess, you mentioned that core group of players that you had, the 6 or 7 throughout the year. How much better did they become throughout the year to give you and the team a chance to win a 5th?
I told my athletes right from the get-go in the summer, I said, we are losing a lot of skills, or we have a lot of skills because the players I have left were our most skilled players. It is on you to improve your skills. We must improve each and every one of our individual skills, our shooting, our driving, our jump shots, our step backs. We worked on all the skills you can name in basketball throughout the summer, and I told the girls, our skill level from this current team, the 2014-15, has to improve. So the amount of work they did in the summer was more than any other summer before. And you know, sometimes the summer it's tough because like the girls will put work because they work really hard, but it is the summer. And I remember having a lot of discussion with them, you need to come to the gym, and they did. Throughout the season, they continued to do that. And not only that, but when we realized we were going to be less, I said, not only our skill level has to improve, our fitness level has to improve. So, you know, girls, all these testing that we do with, this is our baseline, it's stepping up half a point or a point in every category. And they look at me and said, we're going to be less, we're going to be more fit, and we're going to be more skilled than anything else we've done before. I said, in a deal with you, I will make practices shorter because I can't burn you out. So I'm doing my part with reducing practice. You need to do your part with putting extra time. So the 5:45 a.m. extra shooting, the individuals during the day that work in the summer, they have put the time and they improved tremendously. So it was coach suggested, but it was player ran. They had to become better, and they did.
I would imagine, though, Chantal, as the season went on, and probably more so after that one loss, the key veterans that you alluded to a little bit earlier, I would imagine that there's a sense of, we've won 4 in a row, that they almost put pressure on themselves to get that 5th because they don't want to let, the streak come to an end and let the university down because it's become somewhat of the culture there to win women's basketball now.
You know, we lost the one game, and I remember a player just being like, I can't believe we only lost one game and coach is freaking out. Well, yeah, because the expectations are so high. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's just one game, we should all relax. But you're right, we have come to be part of such a winning culture that losing one game we're all a little bit freaking out, it is significant. And the players, I think, the 50 players, it was more of a, I don't think they put pressure on themselves. I think they just understood the importance of their role that they had to perform. I mean, it was on them, but they have never lost a championship, these girls. I mean, it's outstanding. They've never lost a national championship. And instead of putting the pressure on them, like I'd done a little bit the year before, this time I went and I said, look, you just have to be who you are and do what you have always done because you've always won. So this is a normal game. It's not a championship game. It's you go in the championship, but you play basketball, you make your shots, you make your free throws, you do what you've always done, and you forget the grandiosity of the scene, and you just be yourself. And I think they were able this way to become good leaders.
All right, we're going to take a time out here on the Sports Den. We're going to come back. We'll continue talking to Coach Chantal Vallée. I'm going to leave this question with her during the commercial break. She can think about it. I want to know if she was a better basketball player in her playing days or if she's a better coach. And we'll let her answer that after the break. Come on back to the Sports Den.
It's not just about hockey. It's about getting a great education too.
Academics are equally, if not more important than athletics. The Hockey Canada Skills Academy is a great opportunity for any student athlete to live their dream and chase their passion. It gives them an opportunity to get a workout in the morning, they're physically and mentally engaged, and it helps them as a student as well throughout the day. Our program is not just for the elite athletes, it's for everyone.
Adding new products or services to your brochure? Updating those drab business cards? Or looking to create a striking window display? In need of some screen-printed signs for that construction site or promotional campaign? Posters, vehicle wraps, and a whole lot more. At Angel Star Digital, our expert design and production team are ready to meet all your promotional needs. For samples of our work, check out our website at www.angelstardigital.com, or you can call us at 519-969-0712. That's 519-969-0712.
Welcome back to the Sports Den, this special edition of the Sports Den, and because we have a very special coach with us today, Chantal Vallée of the University of Windsor Lancers women's basketball team, just completing their 5th straight Canadian National Championship. Before we get back to Coach Vallée, quick reminder coming up here on WeTV. Where are you going to go with me, Christina? You're going to let me know what we're going to go with the hockey game first on Sunday evening. Out in Leamington, Game 3 of that Western Conference Championship Series between the Vipers and the Flyers. We'll have all the action for you live right here on we-tv.ca, and Games 5 and 7, if necessary, we'll bring those games to you as well. Don't forget, the Westby Awards are just around the corner, just less than 3 weeks away. We'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Westbys, and no doubt Coach Valet will be there. She's nominated again. I'll leave that alone. But you can see all the information there. Tickets are available at Bob Riem Sports, located on Tecumseh Road East. Also at the Wee TV studio, located at 6270 Hawthorne Road on the east side as well. Hopefully you'll make it to the 10th annual Westbys ceremony. As mentioned, the coach in Canada, Chantal Valet, joins us on the show today. I've got a few minutes left here, Coach Valet. Better player or better coach?
Well, I have a funny story.
Okay, I want to hear
Mary
it.
Langlois once said in a public, it was a banquet, and she said, I just have one advice for the new players coming in, and she was talking to Heather Angus at the time. She says, if you want to win a game, when coach decides to practice with us, do not pick her on your team. And she said, but if you do not pass her the ball.
Ah, okay.
So I think that answers the question.
That answers that question,
Yeah,
I guess. Obviously, to win 5 championships, Chantal, as a coach, you're good enough to win 1. How do you become good enough to win 2, 3, 4, 5? I know how you challenge your players. How much better are you as a coach now from your first championship to your 5th one now?
Oh, there's no doubt I've gained so much maturity and experience, and even in my own self-confidence, going to the championship in Quebec City at this time, thinking, we've been down the road so many times. I know how to lead my team, but also there's a lot of confidence from the team to learn from me. And it comes to a point where if I say to the girls, look, you need to do exactly this, they look at me and they listen, because there's a great trust that is established between both of us. But I have to say that before I was able to really, I think, lead my team in a successful way, I really had to go through a personal transformation myself. I think I was a coach that was very, I was young. I thought I knew it all. I was very self-centered. I was controlling. I did not understand really what being a good leader was when I first started. And at some point I realized that, you go to all these coaches' clinic and they always give you best defense to win or how to beat a zone offense, and that's what we take notes, but it is so not about X's and O's. And when I started to understand that it was about leadership, management, people skills, motivational skills, I started to realize that I needed to develop so much more, and it was a transformation about my personality. So it was an entire transformational process about me that was very painful. And to realize that, I wasn't a good coach at all, to take the criticism, to ask the feedback from the player, to mold myself through pains and aches, and to read more books and to transform myself again and get more feedback and change myself again. I think that being willing as a human being to go through that personal transformation process is, in the end, what made me a better coach.
Mm-hmm. The obvious question, and I'm sure you've been asked this, Chantal, you've been at Windsor now for many years, and you've built this program up, to what it is today. Do you still see yourself being here down the road for many years, or is there new challenges that perhaps you do want to consider?
I mean, I'm a person that absolutely loves challenges and loves new adventures, and I would never say no, not even to look at a different opportunity that could come up my way. I think I would always respectfully consider different adventures and opportunities. At the same time, I am so happy here. I have a fantastic program. Once you establish this, it's kind of your baby, right? It's like your show. It's hard to let go, and it's hard to see yourself, somewhere else. So I think it's being incredibly satisfied of being here and being very happy. At the same time, always being open to new opportunities. I think that's about where I stand. Sure.
Okay, that's fair. The other obvious question, I'm sure you've been asked many times: how do you have the fix for 6?
The fix for 6.
The fix for 6.
I like that.
You've got the fix for 6. Well, there, you can take it. Okay,
I like that.
I give you permission.
We've been trying to find
the fix for 6.
Yeah.
We've got the fix for 6.
Okay.
Okay. Where does that go?
No, I like the fix because that's
fix.
Yesterday I met my assistant coach Tom Foster. We
know
watched
what?
the final again.
You and I will patent that, and we'll
Yeah.
see if we can sell some
Yeah,
t-shirts and
that's-
things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We might be able to do something with it.
Anyways, we're looking and we're just talking, watching the final together. And at the end, it finishes, and we're just so happy, and we're mad because the girls didn't box out properly, but that's another thing. But anyway, we're still so happy, and we start talking about 6, and we're just so passionate about it, and we still have it, right? It's just we're so excited to mold this new team and see where we're going to come, what's going to come out of it. So we're recruiting hard right now. Obviously, we need to replace amazing players, and but I'm pretty sure that we'll find a way to go and
Fix 6.
hopefully
Fix for 6, right?
Yes.
That's what we want to hear, Chantal.
That's awesome.
We got the fix for 6. So, good stuff. You know what? We can't put it in words what you've done. It's an amazing thing. You should be very proud of what you've accomplished, what you've done with the young women that you've brought into your program. They're good citizens as well, which is a real tough thing to do. And boy, you make our city that much better because of you. So we thank you. And get the fix for 6 quick, okay? We need that. So
Got it.
Good stuff. Thanks for coming in today, Chantal.
Thank you, Dom.
All right, Chantal Valet, unbelievably special guest, that's for sure. That's it for this edition of the Sports Den. We hope to see you again here next week. Check us out on we-tv.ca and keep following us there. We got a lot of good stuff coming your way here in the Windsor-Essex County community. Until then, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day. Take care, everyone.